Happy Saturday, everybody. Fordham women's basketball returns to the friendly confines of the historic Rose Hill Gym to take on the traveling UMass Minutewomen. Fordham going to try and capitalize on momentum after Wednesday night's win over the Dayton Flyers. Fordham has been through trials and tribulations all season long, but may just be turning it on at the right time. For the Minutewomen, it's been a struggle all season long. With a first-year head coach, it's never going to be easy, and with all the recent success in past years in the program, it's easy to assume that UMass is in a desperate spot to get their team and their season back on track. As we approach the pivotal part of the Atlantic 10 in-conference schedule, it's Fordham and UMass, and it's next on WFUV Sports. Welcome to the beautiful borough of Bronx, New York, more specifically the historic Rose Hill Gym on the campus of Fordham University for this A-10 women's basketball matchup between the traveling Minutewomen of UMass and the home team Fordham Rams. I'm Chris Carrino, joined by, for the first time, the one and only Colin Loughran. Colin, Fordham comes into this game following a much-needed win over the Dayton Flyers on Wednesday night. Fordham, in that game, impressed on both ends of the floor and got themselves a much-needed win coming into that game Wednesday, dropping 7 of their last 9. And the sense of urgency not changing much this afternoon for Coach Brissette Mitchell's squad.
Partner, it's great to be with you for the first time this season. We've been wanting to do a game together for quite some time. Glad to finally have the opportunity. Fordham 3-9 in conference play this year. That win over Dayton was a necessary one, if for no other reason than this is still a team trying to build what it's going to be down the road. They'll be facing a team in UMass today that's looking for a certain swing in momentum. They just haven't been playing as one cohesive unit. Moreover, the Minutewomen haven't won a game since January 2nd against who else but those Dayton Flyers that Fordham just beat.
Yeah, and on the other side, that UMass team really struggling, losing their last 10 games, as you said, haven't had a game since January, and a winless record on the road so far this season, similar to Fordham. Now in the final push of the conference schedule, they're really desperate to get back on track.
Without question, and at this time in the season, it's where the rubber meets the road. Something's got to give. You have to play your best brand of basketball.
We're going to have lineups in action in a few moments, but first, we got a chance to catch up with Fordham women's basketball head coach Brissette Mitchell before the game. Take a listen. Chris Carrino, Colin Loughran, catching up with Coach Brissette Mitchell before the game. Coach, second half of that game, you guys scored so many points, a real offensive explosion. What did you guys do intangible-wise to make that happen?
Yeah, I think that everyone was hunting their shot in a sense of, within our motion, they saw there were opportunities for them to attack 1v1, so we were able to do that. I'm really proud of the effort, and we moved the ball really, really well. To have 8 turnovers for that game is something that we've never done, right? And so that's something that we look to build on today.
And hunting shots is something you talk about a ton.
A ton. You gotta yes, I'm a screener, but after I set this great screen, I'm open too. So you gotta be ready to be a threat.
Coach, this is a UMass team that has struggled to take care of the basketball at times. They've struggled on the whole this year. Home game here, coming off of a big win against Dayton. How important will it be for you guys to create turnovers, create good defense that will breed good offense?
Yeah, it's extremely important. That's part of what we do in terms of our game plan to apply pressure. So that's something that we're going to look to be aggressive with from the very beginning of the game and look to capitalize on their errors.
Coach, there was a level of execution and dominance in the last game, specifically in the second half. First, how satisfying is that to see your team really just come out and dominate, specifically in the second half where you guys have had some problems? And then also, how do you kind of maintain that through the rest of the season?
Yeah, I think that in the past, a number of games, we've had a slow start in that third quarter, but consistently we've been outscoring people in the fourth. And so to be able to put together the entire second half in that game, that was the best game that we played, a total of 40 minutes. And so it's going to be hard to repeat that, but that's what I challenged our players to do, right? It wasn't an accident or a fluke that, we were able to do that. You can do it again. And so I challenged them all to be able to replicate that today.
Oftentimes, offensive productivity comes down to a team's ability to get second and third opportunities on a possession by crashing the offensive glass. UMass is not a great rebounding team. How important will it be for your players to really crash that offensive glass and get some second and third chances?
Yeah, it's rebounding is always a goal of ours, and so we talked about it this week in terms of us upping it, right? And so we talk about 15 offensive rebounds. Why not get 20, 25 today, right? And so that's something that we challenged our players to do, knowing that that's a weakness of UMass. And so we're gonna come out today and be aggressive in those areas in terms of rebounding, pressuring, trying to get more. Force more steals, and then be aggressive.
Thank you, Coach. We'll be right back in a few moments. Back here in the historic Rose Hill Gym, beautiful rendition of the two songs there before the game, and now we're back, set, ready to go. They're about to announce starting lineups here in a moment. But just kind of sticking on the Fordham theme, Colin, we talked a little bit about it in the intro. This Fordham team has had kind of mixed success. They've really been competitive against some great teams and also haven't been really competitive against great teams. It really has kind of felt like random, for lack of a better term.
I think a lot of it, Chris, is just the growing pains of a team that's really still finding its identity. You talk to Coach Mitchell, she's very certain in that she wants her team to play an aggressive style of basketball on both ends of the court, but really that's a word that gets thrown around an awful lot. Anytime anyone says that they want their team to play aggressively, well, the next logical question is, well, what does that mean and what does that look like for that specific unit? And with some new players like Hayford and really Taylor Donaldson and others, they're trying to find what that means for them.
What that means for them in moderation could be a plethora of things. You talked with Coach Brissette Mitchell before the game about that defense translating toward the offense. They had such an explosive second half against Dayton on Wednesday when it comes to offensively. Is the defense what's really providing them and giving them that opportunity to do that?
I think it's going to have to be. When you play against a team like UMass that, while they are struggling this year, has had great pedigree in years past, you're not going to be able to chalk up an easy victory without playing good defense and creating better offense at the other end.
We were with our peer, Lou Orlando. He's on TV today. He was very invested in the last couple of years of this women's basketball program, talked about the rivalry with UMass and how aggressive it was and how serious it was. Now, new coaches on both sides, basically new programs, it feels like. It seems like that rivalry has kind of gone away.
I had a chuckle. Coach Mitchell told us flat out that she's not into rivalries for this team right now. And I kind of like that that's where her head was at. You don't want to create something out of nothing if you don't have to. Fordham's not in the place where they can afford to have a rivalry at this given moment. Eventually, things like that form naturally when you're playing in close games, close conference games that really matter.
And rebounds, another thing. We talked about crashing the glass, getting more opportunities, more possessions is really going to be the key for this Fordham team on the offensive end. That starts and it stops with Lee.
Absolutely. I think when you have a team like Fordham does, the Taylor Donaldsons, the Amy Hayfords, you're going to have to stifle UMass at the point of attack. You cannot let them drive towards the painted area and collect easy baskets. You have to get their hands in the way. You have to block passes. You have to tip shots. Anything you can do to make this game into a street fight will ultimately benefit Fordham.
And on the other side, UMass, almost the exact opposite, really struggle rebounding the ball. What other attributes can they bring to the table to get the victory today?
I think for UMass, this comes down to taking care of the basketball and maximizing the talent you do have. Can you find Kristen Williams some open shots? Can you get her in open space? Fordham is most assuredly going to play big. You look at players like Rose Nelson, Matilda Flood, Miranda Nyborg. They could be in for big days specifically because with their size and athleticism, UMass doesn't have anyone to really combat them. So if I'm the Minutewoman, I'm finding ways to create open space off of pick and roll opportunities, off of ball screens. You name it, it's going to come down to how much space can you generate this afternoon.
Starting lineups for the UMass Minutewomen. First, it's Alexia Rose at the point guard, along with Stephanie Kuleja, along with Kristen Williams, Lily Taule, Bree Bellamy. That's the starting lineup for the Minutewomen. On the other side, for the Fordham Rams, it's, of course, Taylor Donaldson, along with Amina Lee in the middle, Rose Nelson, Amy Hayford, and Mandy McGurk rounding out the starting lineup for the Fordham Rams. Fordham Rams in their home white going right to left, along with the UMass Minutewomen in their road away red uniforms going left to right. It'll be Lee, and she'll win the tip for the Fordham Rams to get this one started. It's Mandy McGurk, top of the arc, guarded by Williams, drifting over to the right wing. A lot of patience being shown. Up top, Taylor Donaldson. Donaldson right around a Rose Nelson screen. On the right wing, pass to Amy Hayford, same spot. Now top of the arc, trying to drive inside. Stolen by Rose. Rose going the other way in transition and finishes at the rim with the layup. Quick and fast start for the UMass Minutewomen.
And this was something we talked to Coach Mitchell about. Hayford loses her dribble on that possession. She's not the type of player that wants the ball in a half-court set. She would much rather get out fast and transition.
Isolation, one of the big keys for this Fordham team this afternoon. Amy Hayford has it on the right wing. Gathers into Lee on the right block. Now spins, pass down under the basket to Rose Nelson and finishes at the rim. Rose Nelson with the finish. Fordham Rams tie it up 2-2, 9 minutes to go here in this first quarter.
Nelson, 6'1", just creates some space, works her way inside, an easy basket for the experienced sophomore.
Bellamy gives it to Williams on the right wing, back top of the key to Rose. Expects Rose to take a lot of shots here this afternoon. Back to Bellamy on the right elbow. Pass, tried to get it inside, couldn't get it into Taule, and now Fordham has it. Fordham with a slower pace, moving right to left. McGurk has it top of the arc once again on the right wing to Donaldson. Donaldson goes left around a Rose Nelson screen, finds her on the roll, back out to Mandy McGurk, right wing, dribbles inside, back top of the arc. Taylor Donaldson, no good on her three. Williams gathers the rebound and moves with speed going the other way in transition. Pump fakes, then passes it inside. No good on the layup from Taule. Smoked it right under the basket. Now Fordham going the other way. Amy Hayford in transition, the Euro step and the right-handed finish.
There's that transition game we were talking about, Chris. Hayford does a good job of moving back towards the center of the court. A nice Euro to finish the play.
Kuleja passes it on the left wing to Williams. No good on that three. Amy Hayford will collect. And she'll bring up the ball as the primary ball handler, driving through the lane on the left wing. Mandy McGurk stops at the three-point line, drives inside. Floater no good from 5 feet. Now Williams has it for UMass. 4-2 Fordham. 7:30 to go here in this first quarter. Bit of a slow meddling start for both teams. Williams passing it at the free throw line to Taule. On the left wing. That is good for Kuleja. Stephanie Kuleja with the three from the left wing. And UMass jumps back out on top 5-4.
That was a precise set from UMass. One could say a deliberate set. Every motion had purpose on that offensive possession.
Tried to pass it inside to Rose Nelson. Couldn't get it to her. It's stolen. Minutewomen have it back once again on the offensive end. Rose scheming the offense. Kuleja has it on the right wing. Pass up top. Bellamy. Dribble handoff. Top of the arc to Williams. Williams drives around the right elbow. Now tries to pass it inside. Does to Tauleja. Couldn't get it in. Taule couldn't spin. Unsuccessful. Fordham now the other way offensively. Mandy McGurk driving inside. No good on the pull-up on the A10 logo. Lee cleans it up under the basket. Second chance points stress that so much, Colin.
Lee with a nice putback. McGurk not with a precise shot at all, but Lee cleans it up. That's part of Fordham's game that they're going to have to expand upon if they want to stay competitive.
Rose right around half court. Getting direction from Coach Mike LaFleur.
Amy Hayford applying more pressure on the left wing. Kuleja with the three, no good. Rebound once again by Lee. And now McGurk looking ahead in transition. Taylor Donaldson on the left wing, driving inside, and a finish with the left hand.
Great vision by McGurk. A gutsy pass at this juncture in the ballgame.
Williams driving on the right wing, down inside, and a right-handed layup finish. 8-7 Fordham, 5:30 to go here in this first quarter. Back in the left corner to Emmy Hayford. Back on the left block to Lee. Lee trying to lob it over to Rose Nelson. In the right corner, she does. Now backing down her defender. Stumbles. Now to Amy Hayford on the left wing. Her three. No good. Nothing but air. And the rebound collected by Kuleja. Rose now has it in transition. Driving through the middle of the lane and stripped by Taylor Donaldson. Bellamy gets it. Cleans it up and puts up the layup. It's good for UMass.
Bellamy with a nice play offensively. That's not a typical offensive possession. Picked up what was going to be a stolen Fordham ball and just put it right back up off the glass.
Rose Nelson lobbing from the free throw line into Lee under the basket. Blocked under the basket by Towle. And now Williams coming the other way for the Minutewomen. Driving through that right wing. Couldn't get a shot up, or at least a shot that was near the rim, and it'll go out of bounds. And a timeout. I'm not sure who called it. Colin, do you know who called it?
Not sure, but we're going to get a stoppage here. And what a first couple of minutes this has been.
General
Very
thoughts.
back and forth. I mean, right off the bat, Fordham's done a good job of creating space, but the same can be said about UMass. Worth mentioning, Chris, these Minutewomen are 0-11 on the road this year, 1-11 in conference play. They have an opportunity to steal one at Rose Hill, Jay.
They look good early, competitive so far. 4:42 left in the first quarter. It's 9-8 Minutewomen. We'll be back in a little bit with action. We'll take a little break. You're listening to Fordham Women's Basketball on WFUV Sports.
What's up, everyone? I'm Julia Moss, one of the hosts of WFUV's women's sports podcasts, All In. Join us each week as we break down everything from the WNBA, women's collegiate sports, the NWSL, and so much more. We're also joined by recurring hosts including Maddie Bamonte, Taylor Masetta, Sam Bohr, and Annabelle Watson. All In is a production of WFUV Sports.
UMass Minutewoman up 9-8 on the Fordham Rams. 4:42 to go here in this first quarter. Still early here in the historic Rose Hill Gym in the Bronx on the campus of Fordham University. And we just talked about it a little bit, kind of expanding on that on the offensive end for UMass. A team not really known for their offensive prowess, but they've been pretty productive so far.
And it's been a fast and loose sort of game. Oftentimes you'll have a rigid start at the collegiate level where both teams really try to find their footing and nothing's clicking offensively. In this one, neither team has run any extraordinary offensive sets, but what you have seen is some gutsy transition play, particularly on Fordham's end. Amy Hayford has done a nice job of creating space for herself. That one finish she had at the basket, the product of a Euro step that wouldn't happen if it was a less experienced player trying to pull that off. At this moment in the game, I would assume that both coaches are trying to tell their teams that they have to play their style of basketball because neither has set the tone and done what they have wanted to do.
A lot of the themes of this game, Colin, are temporary right now, subject to change. Is there any theme that we've seen so far that you could see going all the way through the rest of the game?
I think shooting the basketball. Both teams have generated some very good looks at the hoop. UMass starting out this one at 50%. Fordham just a tad under that at around 44, 45%. If both teams continue to shoot the ball in this fashion, it's going to be a close finish.
Looking for your spots and hunting your shot is something that Coach Bridgette Mitchell, stresses on the daily. Almost every single conversation we've had with her pregame, she's brought it up at some point. And I think offensively, it's shown a lot of improvement in the Rams.
Without question. And now Taya Davis checking in for the Rams. She's one of the team's best facilitators. Anytime you have a player of that caliber, it changes how your offense is able to operate.
High Duke getting it in quick to Kuleja on the inbound. Back out Williams, top of the key. Bellarmine back to Williams on the right wing. No good on the three, off every part of the rim but the net. And it's going to go the other way in favor of the Rams.
Miranda Nyborg and Matilda Flood both in for Fordham now. I wonder if that's going to change how they look at offensive sets. Flood has a sneaky three-point game, perhaps not a sharpshooter, but gives you a different look.
Nyborg, top of the arc to Taya Davis on the right wing. Now top of the arc, tried to pass it inside to Berry, does. She gets up a shot but gets fouled on the way, and she'll go to the free throw line for 2.
That's the type of vision you want your point guard to have. Attracts the contact at the line precisely because the pass was so good from Taya Davis, had precise vision to see Berry streaking towards the rim on that possession.
Kayla Berry, 67% at the line on the year, makes the first there, tying this one up, 9-9, 4:11 to go here in this first quarter, and that one rolls in as well. Another bouncer on the rim, eventually gets it to go. Now High Duke getting press in a full court press from Matilda Flood and Taya Davis, eventually gets the half court to Bellamy, and now Williams has it, pass inside, pump fakes, no good on the shot from Odenigbo. It's now Taya Davis passing it to Berry, cutting through the lane, and gets it to go with the rebound. Gets it to go with the shot.
Davis with the bounce pass there, didn't try and just heave it in, methodically worked the ball towards the paint.
Williams, once again, the primary ball handler for UMass. Kuleja on the left wing to Bellamy, top of the arc to High Duke on the right wing, now drives around the free throw line, inside. Passing to a cutting Bellamy, couldn't quite get it to her. Bit of contact, nonetheless, Fordham going the other way. Pass to Taylor Donaldson, left corner, her three, no good, offside rim. And Williams wins the rebound battle over Matilda Flood, falls, and Matilda Flood picks up the steal. Taya Davis calms down, monster crossover on the left wing, pass inside to Nyborg. Nyborg couldn't quite handle it inside. And now High Duke going the other way for the Minutewomen. Try to dribble handoff, unsuccessful. Now Bellamy, pass to Kuleja on the right wing. Kuleja to Bellamy. Bellamy's right wing three, no good. Rebound under the basket on the left block from Taylor Donaldson. Taylor Donaldson, top of the key. Taya Davis, crossover going through the left lane, puts it up with the right hand, and it's good. Nifty move from Taya Davis.
You're starting to see Fordham create some real traction. They keep pushing the ball up the court. They're trying to play at their tempo, which is a quicker tempo than that of the Minutewomen.
Williams standing on the block F here in the historic Rose Hill Gym on the left wing to Kuleja. Kuleja passing inside. Odenigbo on the left block. It's good on the turnaround jumper.
It was a solid contest from Nyborg that time, but you cannot defend a player of Odenigbo's size. Very hard to do so without fouling.
14-11, final 2 minutes of this first quarter. Matilda Flood on the right wing. Around a left Nyborg screen. On the left wing to Taylor Donaldson. Back to Matilda Flood on the right wing to Nyborg on the right elbow. Kicking it out on the right wing. Taylor Donaldson spinning through the lane. Tried to get a shot up. It's blocked. Goes out of bounds. It'll stay on this side with the Rams under the basket.
It was an intelligent take from Taylor Donaldson. She's obviously Fordham's leading scorer, clocking in at 18.3 points per game this year. Also has a team best 36.6% from range. You're getting to the end of this first quarter. You want to make sure you have some serious momentum. Sometimes just driving to the basket, trying to get some contact, puts it in the other team's head that you're controlling the tone of the game.
Kuleja stealing the lob pass into Berry on the inbound. Now UMass going to calm it down offensively. Rose holding up one finger on the left hand, directing traffic. Guarded by Hayford, top of the arc. Now driving. Splitting defenders, driving through the middle. Eventually, the pass gets intercepted. Matilda Flood now moving with speed the other way. Finishing with the left hand. Matilda Flood in transition, finishing at the rim. It's now Rose, kicking it to Kuleja in the left corner. Her three, no good. Ferguson tries to gather the rebound, couldn't, and it's going to be Fordham ball.
Matilda Flood with a pure transition play. She's a senior, Chris. She's been around the block before as far as Fordham's concerned. Had 9.7 rebounds against Dayton, 3 of 4 from the field in that one, too.
Matilda Flood on a bit of a dry spell before that game. Teammates very excited for her to get on the scoreboard there. Amy Hayford has it on the left block to Amina Lee on the right elbow. Back out, Matilda Flood, right wing. Now driving, trying to go through the middle of the paint. Eventually gets tied up around the free throw line. And it's going to be a held ball possession arrow in the direction of the Minutewomen.
You look at who was at the center of that action again, even though Fordham doesn't get possession of the basketball, it was Matilda Flood. She's just so good at making those hustle plays that every team needs.
Colin, it's one of my sayings, Matilda Flood doing Matilda Flood things.
Well, and they're going to need her down the stretch run of the season. Anytime you're trying to build something substantial, you need people that are going to buy in and people that know the history of where you've been before in terms of the program as a whole.
Alexia Rose fouled in the backcourt. Fordham still sticking to the full court press. High Duke's going to get it out and send a long pass into Ferguson. Ferguson tried to send a little bounce pass inside, couldn't get it inside. Now Matilda Flood on the other end after a large baseball pass from Davis finishes at the rim. 18-17, 27 seconds to go. Fordham Rams lead, and the lead is extending. Alexia Rose, top of the arc. Breathing heavy, guarded heavily by Amy Hayford. Pass to Ferguson on the right wing. Back to Matilda Flood. Now posts up. Now back to Rose. Top of the arc. She'll take a three. No good. 6 seconds left for Fordham. 2 seconds to go. Davis going to send up a prayer. She does. No good. Wide left for Taya Davis. But nonetheless, Fordham very happy going in to their huddle after that first quarter. 18-17 heading into the second.
Fordham took control towards the end of this first quarter, Chris, and if that's a sign of what's to come, it's clear that Coach Mitchell's squad is hungry, ready to grab this win over a struggling UMass team, and a lot of it is a mental battle to just tell yourselves we can handle our business at home against a team that has been struggling more so than we have over the course of the year. Right now, Fordham shooting 8 of 14 from the field. That's good for 57%.
We're going to have second quarter action in just a few moments, but we're going to send it to the Rose Hill Studios for the one-on-one scoreboard with Ben Oppenheimer.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
We've got 2 other games going on in A10 women's basketball today, starting off with the struggling 1-10 Bonnies being in Virginia today to play the 9-2 VCU Rams, and the score is currently 37-25 VCU at the end of the third. The 4-7 LaSalle Explorers are in Pittsburgh playing the 9-3 Duquesne Dukes, with Duquesne leading 13-11 as the first comes to a close. Moving on to some games in A10 men's basketball. The 8-2 Loyola Chicago Ramblers won on the road in a hard-fought game against GW in the nation's capital, with the final score being 81-73 Ramblers. St. Joseph's is playing St. Louis at home in the city of brotherly love, and the score is currently 71-66 with the Hawks in the lead with 8 minutes to go in the second half. The game is being broadcast nationally on USA Network. The 8-1 Spiders are looking to continue their strong play so far in conference as LaSalle comes to Richmond looking to pull off an upset win. Score is currently 14-8 LaSalle as the Explorers are off to a strong start. The Bonnies are playing Duquesne at home up in Western New York. St. Bonaventure is looking to get above 500 in conference play as they're currently 5-5 on the season so far. Duquesne is up 7-3 in a low-scoring game with 15 minutes to go in the first. And last but not least, Davidson and George Mason are set to battle down in North Carolina as the Patriots are looking to snap their 3-game losing streak. The game will be broadcast on USA Network at 2:30. With the one-on-one scoreboard, I'm Ben Oppenheimer.
Welcome back to the Rose Hill Gym. I'm Chris Carrino, joined by my partner Colin Loughran. Colin, I wouldn't say a very positive first half for Fordham, but definitely a positive first half for Fordham. Not anything to write home about, but once again, you got to be at least a little bit proud about how that went.
I think towards the end of that first quarter, you started to see Fordham make more hustle plays. It was clear they wanted it just a little bit more. That begins and ends with Matilda Flood. She gets the first quarter game ball, if we had one to give out. Chris, 4 points, 2 of 2 from the field, 1 rebound, most importantly, 2 steals. It's not spoken about nearly enough how much a team needs someone that's willing to dive for a loose ball, go for the steal, make the gutsy play. If Fordham is able to do that for the remaining 3 quarters of this game, this could get ugly very, very fast. As for UMass, they're going to need to just find ways to play their game. I'm not sure that they'll be able to beat Fordham with a run-and-gun style.
Matilda Flood doing Matilda Flood things, as I like to say. This Fordham team, very good in the steal department, 57th in the country in steals, and we've seen that early today. Rose Nelson driving inside, a little shimmy in the post and finish on the shot, around 4 feet away from the rim.
Rose Nelson, only a sophomore, but remember, she was here last year, a veteran play.
A block from behind by Rose Nelson on Rose. Rose on Rose crime, and now Alexia Rose is teed up by the referee here on the baseline closest to us. To be honest, Colin, that might be my first technical I've called so far in a Fordham women's basketball game.
Yeah, and a surprising technical. Only the second quarter. Perhaps some frustration boiling over for Alexia Rose. Second on the team this year with 12.3 points per game for the Minutewomen in A10 play. She's been a main cog of their offense. Also leads the group with 50 assists in conference play. So a technical this early could point to some frustration, some emotions boiling over.
I think the technical was the Rose on Rose crime, not the yelling at him. I think he was more just appalled by two Roses having such disagreements.
He saw the opportunity and could not pass up. Officials like to have some fun too, Chris.
Of course, we all do. As Taya Davis sinks the free throw. Fordham will get the ball back now after the technical. 22-11, 9:37 to go here in the first half. Fordham expanding on their lead. Amy Hayford gathers it on the left wing. Going around left, Amina Lee screen. Now driving through the right lane, finishing with the right hand. And it spins off the rim through the net. It's good. And Fordham once again scoring on the offensive end. It's now 24-11 Fordham Rams.
Hayford found just a crevice of space to work with and made the most out of it. That's not a common trait. Not every player can have that sort of efficiency, that sort of artistry to their game.
24-11, 9:26 to go here in the first half. We're going to take a little break. We'll be right back with some action. You're listening to Fordham Women's Basketball on WFUV Sports.
Hey everyone, I'm Will Grant.
And I'm Chris Persianen.
And we're two of the hosts for WFUV's very own basketball podcast, Pick and Pod.
Tune in weekly for updates and our takes on the latest around the NBA, as well as exclusive insight from our very own Knicks and Nets beat reporters.
We'll have you covered on everything from all of the NBA's latest drama we know and love,
to debating all year long which team will get to lift that golden Larry O'Brien in June.
So don't miss a beat from the hardwood on WFUV's Pick and Pod.
(24-11) Fordham Rams over the UMass Minutewomen. 9:26 to go in the first half. We're taking you live from the Bronx on the campus of Fordham University. Colin, it's been a good start for this Fordham Ram team. A team maybe not used to having such good starts. Is it almost an awkward position for them to be in right now?
I think it's the kind of position where you could fall asleep at the wheel just a touch. I mean, when you're having the kind of season that Fordham has been having, 3-9 in conference play, you're not expecting to roll over any opponent that you might face. So far, they're shooting 10 of 16 from the field. They're doing a nice job of getting clean, open looks at the basket. That's something that they've struggled with for the vast duration of this season. So to answer your question, yeah, it definitely is an awkward spot for them, precisely because if they don't keep that same intensity, the Minutewomen could come back in a heartbeat. But on the flip side, if UMass has any intention of winning this basketball game, they're going to have to play their brand of basketball. I know I sound like a broken record at this juncture, but Fordham has been running circles around them from a physicality standpoint, from the standpoint of they've looked more athletic, they've looked more in sync. The Minutewomen need to face themselves and look at one or two of their best players and get them the rock. Find Kristen Williams some open space. Find someone like Colin for some open space. That'll make all the difference in the world.
There's mayhem. There was mayhem around us just a few moments ago for the t-shirt toss. Glad we got through that, but nonetheless, Fordham's going to have it on the other end. Or actually, UMass is going to have it on the other end. They're going to take it full court. Once again, Fordham seeming to be running a full court press. They are. As High Duke gets trapped, but eventually gets it ahead. Kuleja going through the middle of the lane. Pretty right-handed reverse finish for the UMass Minutewomen.
And that time UMass just broke Fordham's press. If you know what you're doing, breaking the press not that hard. That time they made it look easy.
Very easy, and the finish easy as well. Matilda Flood on the right wing, guarded by Hajduk. It's now Davis on the left wing, pass to Amy Hayford. Hayford now drives, instead to kick it back out. Taya Davis tried to send a bounce pass in the post to Rose Nelson. It was kicked away. It'll stay with the Rams.
I'm not sure if that was an intentional kick or
You
not.
don't think
if
so?
it was, though, that is a very intelligent play just to stop Fordham's movement, to get them to become stagnant for a half a second.
I feel like with the power she kicked out with, it had to be intentional. Taylor Donaldson, top of the arc three. It's good. Right after the inbound, Taylor Donaldson wide open and hits it from the top of the arc.
Taylor Donaldson, probably Fordham's best three-point shooter. She showed why right there with a spot-up look.
It's now Hajduk on the block F. Now drifting toward the left wing. On the left elbow now. Kuleja moving to the right elbow. Jumper, no good. Rebound downstairs from Lee. Handoff to Taya Davis, and now Taya Davis is moving. Taya Davis driving through the right lane, putting up an overhand right-handed layup. No good. Now UMass moving the other way. It's Williams. Moving on the far side from us on the left wing. Now died it down inside. Back up top to Hajduk. Top of the arc three for Hajduk. No good. Taylor Donaldson gathers it around the free throw line and is moving the other way. 10-foot pull-up jumper on the left wing. No good for Taylor Donaldson. And believe it's going to stay on this side with the Rams under the basket.
As soon as Fordham gets the ball in that offensive end of the court, it's only been one or two passes before they've taken a shot. They're not taking their time. They're moving efficiently and getting open looks with ease.
Mandy McGurk eventually getting it in the post to Nelson. Handoff to McGurk once again, now top of the arc on the left wing. Taylor Donaldson passing in the post to Lee. Lee double team, passes to Rose Nelson, top of the arc, not guarded, now going through the lane and finishing with the right hand. Nifty work from Rose Nelson. And now Rams back out to an even larger lead, 29-13 with 7:30 to go in this first half. Hajduk's left corner three, no good offside rim for UMass. Now Fordham coming back once again offensively. Amy Hayford driving from the right wing into the lane, a travel call, and now the Minutewomen will once again have it.
Fordham got a little bit overly ambitious there. McGurk pushed the pace. They know they have an opportunity to put this one away very early. Up 19 points, up by 20 has a different feel to it.
Fordham already clearing their first half total from their game on Wednesday. Still 7:15 to play here in this second quarter. Hajduk sending it in. Bellamy. No good on the left baseline jumper. Now Taylor Donaldson retrieving the ball right in front of us. Hajduk pleading for an out-of-bounds call, doesn't get it. Now Fordham the other way offensively. Amy Hayford on the right wing, now driving right baseline. Inside to Lee, beautiful pass and finish from Amina Lee.
Gorgeous pass from Hayford, definitely helps with Lee's 6'4" height. Just put her hands up and waited for the basketball right under the hoop.
Hajduk has it on the left wing, takes a 15-footer, no good inside the three-point line. And once again, another defensive rebound for Lee. Fordham in their home white going right to left. Dribble handoff, Taylor Donaldson on the left wing. Crossover, driving inside. Tried to finish with the left, fouled on the way there. And she'll go to the line for two.
Donaldson showing no fear, driving towards the basket. Fordham up by 18 points now in this one in just the second quarter, Chris. The tone has completely switched from those first couple of minutes in the first quarter. The Rams really taking control of their own destiny now.
You said it, Colin. 31-13, 6:29 here in this first half. Fordham, I'm sure, very pleased with how this one's gone so far. A lot of the themes Coach Brissette Mitchell preached before the game, a lot of them coming to fruition right now.
And she had flat out said that she wants to roll over other teams. It wasn't this kind of, maybe if we play our best brand of basketball, we will come out with a win. It was very much in the vein of we want to roll these other teams. It should not be close if we play the way we're supposed to.
Fordham picked 13th in the preseason poll for the A-10. Coach Brissette Mitchell talks about it constantly, must take it very seriously. And I'm sure this team takes it seriously as well. You can tell in their last couple games as William dribbles on the block F, just kind of the chip on this team's shoulder. Williams still dribbling on the block F. eventually going right around a Bellamy screen. Now on the right wing, crossover, now at the free throw line, driving through the left of the lane, no good on the left-handed layup. And now McGurk ahead of the pack in transition, and going up, trying to finish at the rim, but Kuleja swatting it out of bounds.
That last UMass possession was ugly with a capital U, Chris. There was not one pass. Kristen Williams was looking for anyone to begin moving. Fordham took advantage of that, got the easy rebound, pushed it back up in transition.
That possession allowed me to monologue. That's when you know. Amy Hayford sending it under the basket. Rose Nelson trying to dribble and hand off back to her, but stripped in the process. Not sure what the actual call is. It seems like it's going to be UMass's ball going the other way. It's a hold called on the Fordham Rams, and yeah, UMass will get it going back, going left to right.
UMass struggling mightily this afternoon. They're dead last in opponent field goal percentage among A10 teams. They've been holding them to a roughly 46 to 47% clip, if you could even say holding them.
Williams top of the arc to Pierce on the right wing, around a Talley screen, back to Bellamy. Top of the arc, tried to send it to Kuleja all alone on the baseline, couldn't get it to her, over her head, and it'll be Fordham ball.
And that was a team that did not know what they wanted to do with the basketball on that possession. There was no rhyme or reason to any of the passes made, any of the motions made. A lot of it has to do with being deliberate, Chris. You have to realize what it is you're trying to accomplish and move with purpose.
Nelson in the left corner to Taylor Donaldson, now in the post to Lee. Lee passing out, top of the arc. Taya Davis no good, off side rim on the three. Now Taylor Donaldson takes it out to the right wing. Her three is good. The sweet stroke of Taylor Donaldson, and that brings the Fordham lead out to 23. It's now 36-13 with 5:10 to go here in the first half.
Donaldson up to 10 points and 5 boards on the day, racking up a pretty stat sheet.
Kuleja on the right wing, guarded by Nelson. Top of the key to Williams. Long three on the block F, no good. Taylor Donaldson gets it, and she's moving fast for the Rams. Taylor Donaldson tried to do some sort of Euro step move, ended up traveling with it, and it'll go back to the Minutewoman.
Tried to move off the dribble and drift towards the left side. That's a hard shot. Got it to go down. Had she been more careful with her footwork, she could have been looking at an M1 opportunity.
Williams. Kuleja back top of the key to Williams. Guarded closely by McGurk to the right wing, back to Kuleja. Kuleja giving it on the left wing to Williams. Taule trying to get it inside. Back to Williams. Williams deep on the left wing, has to get a shot up. 4 seconds left on the shot clock. Takes a shot on the right elbow, no good. Didn't hit rim, and that's a shot clock violation in favor of Fordham. 36-13. And we're going to get a timeout from Coach Mike LaFleur, not liking what he's seeing from his Minutewoman. 36-13, Fordham with a dominant lead, commanding lead, with 4:22 to go here in this second quarter. We'll be right back with Fordham women's basketball action on WFUV Sports.
What's going on, guys? I'm Jack Warner, one of your New York Rangers beat reporters for the 2023-2024 NHL season. I'll have you covered all season long as New York looks to bring a Stanley Cup back to the Big Apple in Peter Laviolette's first season as head coach. Follow me on Twitter at Jack_Warner23 for live game updates, post-game media availability, and all things Blue Shirts.
Taylor Donaldson bringing it up into the front court. 36-13 Fordham over UMass. 4:15 to go in this first half. Taya Davis driving from the right wing, trying to drive, kicking it back out. Taylor Donaldson, her three from the right wing, no good. Lee trying to grab the offensive rebound, unsuccessful. And now Kuleja coming the other way in transition for UMass. Lee trying to make a steal attempt from behind on the break, gets called for a foul. It'll be UMass ball taken out under the basket.
And that's the kind of foul that you take when you realize you have an advantage. Fordham is not playing careful on the defensive end. They're willing to take some risks at this juncture.
Haven't seen a lot of Alexia Rose here in the second quarter for UMass. One of the premier players for their squad as a steal is made Another turnover for UMass as Taya Davis now driving, kicking to McGurk, right wing, top of the arc to Rose Nelson, behind the back dribble, now to Donaldson on the left wing, guarded by the much bigger Talley. Taya Davis guarded by Williams, left wing, pass in the post to Lee on the left block, back top of the arc, Rose Nelson driving inside, dump off pass to Lee, and finish at the rim. Impressive offensive possession for Fordham.
Lee rose up, had no fear, finished the clean look at the basket, just using her size to her advantage, her athleticism as well.
38-13. Been a while since a UMass score. 3:16 to go in the second quarter. Pierce, top of the arc. Pass in the right corner. Now on the right wing. Williams now backing it back out. Top of the arc. Talley growing frustrated in the post. End up getting it to her and finishing with the left-handed layup. She was barking orders, calling for it to Williams. Eventually got it.
Not a pretty basket by any stretch, though. Lucky they got the pass in there. Kristen Williams just kind of heaved it in without any sort of purpose.
Taya Davis on the left wing using the Rose Nelson screen. Now pass to Taylor Donaldson. Dump pass inside. Amina Lee, no good on the first attempt. Tried to put it up again. No good on that one as well. And now Williams has it for UMass. On the right side of the court, moving toward the center. On the block F. Pass to Coolleasure, right wing. Going right baseline. Her pull-up jumper, 8 feet, no good on that one. Now Davis has it, top of the arc, crossover. Around left, a Lee screen. Now pass McGurk, top of the key. Now drifting toward the left wing. Taya Davis, top of the arc, crossover, driving through the right lane. Pass inside the Lee, but an offensive foul is going to be called on the slashing Taya Davis. Talley goes down, takes the plunge, and it'll be UMass ball.
UMass catching a little bit of a break. If they're going to make a run, Chris, it's going to have to be now. Just over 2 minutes to play in this first half of action. You don't want Fordham's lead to bubble any more than it already has. Right now, UMass only 1 of 10 from downtown. That will have to change if they want to start to facilitate a comeback.
A little bit of trouble with the ball for UMass in the backcourt. Eventually get it in the front court past the press. Ferguson giving it to High Duke on the deep left wing. Now drifting top of the arc on the right wing to Williams. Williams driving baseline side. Now pulls up, step back on baseline. 10-footer is good. That one is Kristen Williams, New Zealand native. Impressive little nifty move there.
Just a nice, easy move off the dribble. Williams now with 4 points on the afternoon.
Taya Davis looking at her coach for some direction. Nyborg comes, sets a left-sided screen back to Matilda Flood, right wing, into the post to Nyborg. On the right baseline, passes cross-court to the left wing to Taya Davis. Taya Davis, crossover, 5 seconds on the shot clock. Tried to pass it after the pick on the roll to, I believe that was Kayla Berry, but a bit of a collision here. Williams is shaken up, slow to get up on the other end.
That is not what UMass needed at all. Kristen Williams, such a versatile scorer, only a junior, 5'8". You cannot lose one of, if not your best players when you're down by this many points. She only played in 20 games last year and averaged 1.2 points. She's dramatically improved in just 1 year, Chris. Had a season-high 20 points against George Mason earlier this season.
The bright side of that situation, they got the ball back as well. They're looking for any kind of Fordham turnovers. Getting more chances and more possessions, a key for this UMass team along with Fordham. It's an 11-point lead. It's down to as small as it's been in a while. 38-17, 107 to go in this first half. Like Colin said, UMass trying to chip away at this lead before the half. On the left wing to Bellamy. Cross court to Williams on the right wing. Jab step. Tried to get it to Ferguson on the right elbow. And a kick ball violation from Matilda Flood. It'll stay with the Minutewomen.
And Williams still in this game. That was not a clear pass by any stretch of the imagination. She looks a tad off kilter, if you will. There's something clearly going on here.
Good word choice there, Colin. Williams, top of the arc, going left around a screen. Back top of the key, Talley to High Duke on the right wing. Now passing it inside to Bellamy. The lob pass unsuccessful, tapped out of bounds. It'll stay on this side with UMass. High Duke taking it out under the basket. parallel with the left block. Now a lob pass to Taule. Got it on the left wing to Williams. Her three, no good. That was a deep three. Couldn't get it to go. And now McGurk passing ahead to Hayford in transition. Hayford going through the center of the paint. Now on the right wing, passing back out on the horn of the Ram at the top of the arc. It's McGurk. McGurk slow, 17 seconds to go. 38-17 Rams. Holding for a final shot here, I would presume. Hayford going right around the screen on the right wing. Now passing on the right wing to McGurk. Inside to Berry. Berry turning around in the post. Nyborg from the left elbow. Her jumper, no good. Flood gets the rebound, but doesn't matter. The horn sounds. Impressive half for Fordham. A bit of trouble toward the end of that second quarter, but they're going into the locker room with an 11-point lead. 38-17 going into the second half.
And although Fordham didn't get a bucket on that last possession of the first half, I liked the fact that they held the ball until that last possession. With how aggressive they've been playing, you could have just as easily seen them drive towards the basket, try and get something quick, but then you run the risk of UMass getting an easy rebound and running back on you in transition. I like the fact that they took the air out of the room in one way or another. A big lead over the Minutewomen. They'll have to reset, come out with some real strength in the second act.
And Fordham players and Fordham fans know just how pivotal the second halves have been for this Fordham team all season long. We're going to take a little break. We're going to send it into the Rose Hill studio. 38-17 Fordham over the UMass Minutewomen. And we'll be right back in a few moments for the second half. But first, in the Rose Hill studio for the halftime show, it's Jack Warner and Ben Oppenheimer.
The one-on-one halftime report.
Happy Super Bowl Eve to all who celebrate, and welcome into the one-on-one halftime report live from the Rose Hill Studios at Fordham University. I am Jack Warner, joined alongside by Ben Oppenheimer. At the halftime of today's Fordham women's basketball game, they are in the driver's seat by 11 as they lead the UMass Minutewomen 38-17. Now, we got all sorts of first half analysis to get into, but not before I send it over to Ben Oppenheimer for a one-on-one scoreboard.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
A lot of games in the top 25 being played across the country today in college basketball. Let's get right into it. Number 9 ranked Duke is currently in the middle of a game with Boston College at the Cameron Indoor Stadium as the score is currently 22-18 Blue Devils with 8 minutes left in the first half. Number 1 ranked UConn completed a blowout 89-64 win over Georgetown, continuing their dominance in the Big East. And another blowout win on the books as number 16 ranked Alabama just finished a rout of LSU with the final score being 109-92 Crimson Tide. Number 19 ranked Creighton is looking to seal a win over Xavier with the score being 74-67 with a little over a minute left. The Blue Jays are looking to move to 8-5 in conference play in the Big East. Number 15 ranked South Carolina is comfortably leading Vanderbilt at home as the score is currently 60-48 Gamecocks. Number 10 ranked Illinois is caught in a close game away at Michigan State right now as the score is currently 22-17 with Illinois in the lead. You can catch the game on CBS. And last but not least, number 14 ranked Iowa State is off to a strong start at home as they lead TCU 15-6 with 10 minutes to go in the first half. You can catch the game on ESPN2. With the one-on-one scoreboard, I'm Ben Oppenheimer.
Thank you for that update, Ben. Now, looking back at this first half, a beatdown would be putting it quite lightly. As I mentioned before, 21-point lead heading into the half. But one of the things I want to talk about to start things off here, Ben, is the way Fordham has been able to just shut down any and all scoring for these UMass Minutewomen. And I want to start with Alexia Rose, who is basically the leading scorer for this UMass Minutewomen team. Over her last 3 games, she's averaging 21 points a game. She's shooting 46% from the field. She's 5-9 from three-point land. In this first half, they have held her to nothing but 2 points. And then you look just across the distribution of scoring for this UMass women's team. No one has more than 5 points right now, and we've reached halftime. It's clear that the Fordham didn't even need to have as offensive of a first half as they did. With this kind of defensive play, it really does feel as though they're just suffocating any and all scoring opportunity for this UMass team.
Absolutely, Jack. I mean, this is a game that Fordham came into looking forward to having the chance to get a nice blowout win. And I think if they keep this up in what they did in the first half, I think they can easily win by 20 to 25 points. I mean, just look at the fact that you look at UMass, 8 for 28 from the field, 28% overall, 1 for 11 from 3. And then Fordham, they're just making their shots. We're so, unfortunately, we're used to a lot of games where Fordham's shooting splits have been brutal. And this time it's brutal for the other team. And credit to them suffocating UMass on the defensive end, not letting them get what they want. As you noted, Jack, Rose, she's only got 2 points right now. When you're shutting down an opposing team's star player, that really, I think, demoralizes the other team, and it prevents other people from getting hot. And so credit to Fordham for right now, this defensive pressure that they've kept up in both the first and second quarter. And let's see if they can do that and sustain it for the rest of the game.
And I think the other thing that's been very impressive, as we point out, as we kind of finish up on talking about the defensive side of things here, is just Fordham's ability in general to limit opportunities and limit chances in this game. Fordham didn't take phenomenal care of the ball in the first half. They reached the first half with 10 turnovers, but if you look, UMass only has 4 points off a turnover. So they've given the ball away 10 times, and they've only allowed UMass to score twice of those 10 giveaways. And then you look at UMass, who Colin, Loughran, and Chris Carrino, during their pregame coaches sound with Bridgette Mitchell, one of the things they pointed out to her in one of their questions was about how this UMass team has been one that has struggled with taking care of the basketball. They reached the end of the first half with 8 turnovers, and the points off turnovers for Fordham, 11. So they're turning defense into offense. They're producing at both ends of the floor. Now that that's out of the way, we got to talk about Taylor Donaldson, because, my God, 10 points at the half. She's the leading scorer so far. She's got 6 boards to go along with it. She's hit the only 2 3-pointers of the game for these Fordham Rams. She's 2 for 5 from three-point land. And then, another nice thing to see, and we talked about this earlier in the week coming off of a dominant Dayton victory, was that there were some struggles early in the season where you saw too much of the scoring having to funnel through 1 or 2 or 3 select players, and perhaps maybe not always seeing the distribution of scoring that you wanted to see. The points off the bench today has been great. You got Matilda Flood with 4 points. You got Kayla Berry with 4 points. Taya Davis, 4 points. So you see a nice, good distribution across the roster. Everyone's playing their part. And when you think about just everything we're talking about here, great defense and a well-rounded offensive approach. Everybody's getting their points. Everybody's out there doing their job, led behind Taylor Donaldson. No wonder you see a 21-point first-half lead.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't have said it much better than you did, Jack. I mean, just going off of including what we discussed on the On the Hill podcast earlier this week, podcast exclusively donated to talking about Fordham athletics, talking about the trajectory of this women's basketball team. They've gone 2-2 in their last 4, 500. I was saying with this stretch, it's not out of the question for them to go 500 the rest of the way in conference play in these final 6 games. These are the winnable games that can easily pick up, like General Grievous when he picks up the lightsabers in the Star Wars movie, adds another to its collection. Fordham women's basketball, they're going to add another win to their collection. Things are looking up for them. I love the way that they're moving the ball. Everyone's getting their shots. And how can you forget Rose Nelson? She's 3 for 3 from the field. Very efficient, only 6 points, but we'll see if she continues that great shooting performance so far. And Lee as well contributing, as you noted. Donaldson, of course. She's undisputably the star player representative of not just Fordham women's basketball, but I think she's the signature athlete on campus right now. And I think it's not that unreasonable to say that.
She's had a phenomenal season, a phenomenal game today so far. Hopefully, she continues to keep up that level of play, that caliber of play. The other thing that I've liked seeing out of in this first half from this Fordham team is just sticking with what works. They start in the first half, in the first quarter, 0 for 3 or 0 for 4 from three-point land and just anything outside the paint. But what you see is at the end of the first quarter, they got 18 points, 6 of them are in the paint. 16 of them are in the paint, We reach the first half, they have 38 points, 26 of them are in the paint. So they spotted, field goal percentage and mid-range jumpers, three-point jumpers to not be falling right away. They didn't continue to force up bad shots just to get them up. They found that they were, penetrating in the paint, and they were able to attack the basket and score points that way, and they've stuck with it. I think that's something that's very admirable about the way that they've played in this first half. And you mentioned it, Ben, this sort of the stream of momentum that this Fordham women's basketball team is appearing to start to gain. This is it appears as though, a lot of times when people talk about must-win games, it seems as though it's always a marquee matchup. It's always you're playing the 1 seed or you're playing who you'll eventually see in a championship game somewhere. There's also a must-win aspect to games like this one. This UMass Minutewomen team, it has not been an easy season over in Amherst, Massachusetts. They are 3-21 on the year, and credit to them, you still see them out playing hard. There were still parts of that first half where you saw a gritty UMass team that was trying to do the best they could, but obviously Fordham just dominating on both sides of the floor didn't quite work out for them. But just because a record like this one comes off as, this should be a sleeper, these are the games where it is absolutely imperative that you go in and you do your job. There is absolutely no margin for error in any game, because you can't have margin for error in the best of the best, and you can't have margin for error against teams lower in the conference because there's no excuse.
100%. And I'm just wondering if their Achilles heel is going to be they take their foot off the gas pedal and they get complacent in the second. You don't want to see that happen, because anything can happen in college basketball. Games can change so quickly. Just the nature of the sport in general, you can have a 25-point lead that's erased within 5 minutes. And so if Fordham wins this game, I think it's a great bouncing off point for the rest of the season. Try to get these wins that, as you said, are must-wins, because they're gimmies. They're layups, so to speak. So take these layups, make the basket, and move on and have a great attitude for the rest of the year, and then maybe make a run in the A-10 tournament. We'll see what happens.
Ben, you took the words right out of my mouth. I was just about to ask you what you think should be the focus in the second half for this Fordham Rams women's team, and I think that's exactly what I was going to say. Is honestly, we've seen what they can do. They've overpowered this UMass Minutewomen team in the first half. It's all about just maintaining that consistency and not getting complacent. But that is going to just about do it for this one-on-one halftime report. We will send you back to the Rose Hill Gym, where Chris Carrino and Colin Loughran will take you the rest of the way.
Hi, this is Mike Breen, WFUV class of 1983. WFUV is the flagship station of Fordham Athletics, with live coverage of Fordham football, Fordham men's and women's basketball, in addition to Saturday one-on-one. Stay right here on 90.7 FM for all things WFUV Sports.
Welcome back to the historic Rose Hill Gym here on this gloomy Saturday afternoon. Fordham leading the UMass Minutewomen 38-17. I'm Chris Carrino heading into this second half, joined by Colin Loughran. Colin, looking at this first half, definitely a successful one for Fordham, but still a lot more work to do.
Chris, it might be gloomy outside, but the sun is certainly shining on this Fordham women's team. They have played a nice game so far this afternoon. 26 points in the paint. That's 26 of 38 total points. Additionally, they're shooting around 53% from the field, also 6 of 6 from the free throw line. They're doing all of the little things the right way. Now they just have to close the deal. You cannot get complacent in the second half. You cannot bank on the things that went well in the first half continuing to go well in the second act. You have to keep on doing what you're doing, put the pedal to the metal.
And on the other side, looking from the perspective of UMass, there's not many opportunities you get to score 17 points and a half and still be in the game, only down 11. They're in a good spot, and probably in comparison to how they played in that first half, a really good spot.
Well, I think you put it mildly there, Chris. To be still in the game is highly up for debate. They haven't gotten great performances from their star players. Alexia Rose, as the gents on the halftime show pointed out, only has 2 points this afternoon. Kristen Williams with 4 points. That's a combined 6 points from 2 of your top scorers. That can't happen if you're looking to win conference games. Now you have to get really creative in terms of the opportunities you're looking to breed. They're 8 of 28 from the field, 1 of 11 from downtown. Those numbers are downright putrid. I would expect them to start to look towards some more three-point opportunities. While the clip is bad, if you want to come back, you're going to have to start to shoot three more effectively.
Second chance points, one of the themes that we've stressed all broadcast long. Both teams kind of need it, and it's kind of vital for both teams. How do you see that theme kind of factoring out for the rest of the game?
At this point in the game, any second chance points that Fordham can get would be gravy. For UMass, they might become a necessity if that percentage from the field doesn't improve.
Coming back for second half action here in the Bronx, 38-17 Fordham heading into the second half as the players leave their huddle. Fordham in their home white going left to right, Fordham in their home white going left to right, and UMass in their road red going right to left. It's Rose starting it out for UMass. To Bellamy on the left wing, back to Rose. Rose now consuming the left wing. Pass top of the arc. Taule. Dribble handoff on the right wing. Three is no good. Offensive rebound, second chance for UMass. Just talked about it. Back to Rose. Top of the arc. Pump fakes. Drives through the left lane. Tries to put up a left-handed layup. Fouled up on the way. No good on the shot, but go to the line for two.
Right off the jump, UMass attempts a three. They get the offensive rebound. They're trying to work around the perimeter and find just a crevice of space to work with. They draw contact ultimately, but if they had an open three, I would put my money on them taking it, Chris.
Alexia Rose at the line, makes the first. 68% free throw shooter on the year. East Carolina transfer. Good on the second for Rose as well. Fordham trying to push it with some pace going the other way. Amy Hayford trapped right in front of us on the close near baseline, deep on the right wing. And I believe a foul was called. It's going to be Taylor Donaldson taken out right in front of us here on the near baseline, deep on the right wing. McGurk directing Donaldson to the other wing. McGurk now drifting to the right wing. Sized up by Williams. Now passing top of the key to Donaldson. Donaldson gathers. Now getting double teamed, trying to pass it away. Eventually it's toyed with, and Kuleja's holding it on the ground, passing it to Lee. That's the wrong team. Fordham will have it. Another second chance for the Rams. Amy Hayford driving from the left wing, driving inside through the lane, finishing on the right lane with the right hand. Williams now has it, takes a quick three from the left wing, no good, offside rim. McGurk now moving. Fordham moving in transition. Donaldson moving from the right wing, no good on her layup. And once again, UMass will have it.
Pace starting to get a little bit more intense.
Yeah.
You figure that would benefit Fordham given how big their lead currently is.
40-19, 8:23 to go here in this third quarter. Back out, top of the arc, Bellamy. On the left wing to Rose. Rose jab step, now drives to the middle of the lane, puts up a floater, no good, but fouled once again, and Rose once again going to the charity stripe.
And that time UMass slowed it down a touch after a couple series of back and forth possessions. The Minutewomen doing a nice job in this second half of trying to slow things down and not make this into any more of a street fight than it's already been.
Street fight, good way to describe this one so far. Rose going to try and cut this lead down to 20. And she does with that first free throw. It's good. 40-20 Fordham Rams over the UMass Minutewomen. 8:12 to go here in this third quarter.
And a lopsided street fight at that.
Yeah.
It's very clear that Fordham has been the quicker and more apt opponent.
Rose good on the second free throw. Flood taking it out quickly for Davis. UMass executing their own little press as Aveford has it going the other way. Goes through the left lane, gets fouled on the way up with the left hand, and she'll go to the line for two.
Now, how soul-crushing would that have been for the Minutewomen had it been an M1 opportunity for
deflating.
Amy Aveford?
Hayford spinning the ball, getting ready to take her first free throw. No good, offside in front rim on the first. 40-21, 19-point lead for the Rams. Amy Hayford with 6 points, 2 rebounds, and an assist. Missing her first free throw of the afternoon and her second off back rim. Bellamy secures it for UMass under the basket. Rose eventually passing it up front, up top to Kuleja, breaking the press. Now Rose has it. Taule dribble handoff to Rose on the right wing. Now going around a Taule screen, spinning, going the other way on right baseline. Now Williams has it on the left wing, pump fakes, then takes the three. No good. Once again, a missed three for Williams. And Taya Davis now has it. Rams moving into their offensive set. Davis going right through the right lane, passing it back out on the right wing to Hayford. Back out Davis. Now Flood passing it all the way around inside to Miranda Nyborg. Nyborg working out of the left post. Back out Amy Hayford. Her left wing three, no good. Rebound brought down by Rose around the free throw line. She's moving the other way. Driving inside, going under the basket, eventually finding Bellamy at the free throw line. No good on that jumper. And Taylor Donaldson gets the rebound. Quick pace, Colin.
And Bellamy just forced that shot, had all the time in the world.
Hayford receiving a lot of contact, driving through the lane, and receives a foul. It's going to be taken out under the basket, parallel from the right block.
Amy Hayford looked more like a fullback driving the rim on that possession. Not the most gracious drive towards the cup that I've seen, Chris.
Coach Brissette Mitchell talked about stressing that isolation ball when it comes to players like Taya Davis going downhill or someone like Amy Hayford. That play, almost a perfect example of the brand of basketball she's trying to play.
Especially with how the pace has been, that possession almost seemed more like a transition opportunity, even though Fordham did take a moment to set.
Taya Davis trying to get it in. Tries to get it into Nelson. Nelson mishandles it. Nyborg gathers it, but a travel call on Nyborg. It's going to go the other way in favor of the Minutewomen. Going to be Bellamy taking it out for Rose. Rose sending it up front to Williams. Williams taking a 10-footer on the left wing. No good. Rebound corralled in by Matilda Flood with the left hand, and a foul called in the backcourt.
As the game's got chippier, UMass has benefited. When the game has slowed down, the Minutewomen have benefited. Fordham needs to intensify the pace once again. When they've been playing run and gun, they've been dominating.
Taya Davis has it for the Rams, drifting over to the right wing. Now going baseline side, driving through the lane on the right block. Now pivoting around, back out to Nelson in the right corner. Nyborg up top. Matilda Flood on the left wing, going around a Nyborg screen. Pulls up from the free throw line, no good on the jumper. And rebound brought in by Kuleja and given to Rose.
Flood looked like she tried to bank it in. Might have been better just to have some finesse on the shot.
Rose blocked around the left block by Matilda Flood, and Taylor Donaldson moving with a exceeding pace the other way and finishing with the left hand.
12 points, 7 boards now for Donaldson. Picks UMass's pocket and benefits with 2 points.
Take foul from Matilda Flood on the driving Kuleja. 42-21 Fordham Rams. Rams doubling the UMass total so far with 6:06 to go here in this third quarter.
And you can see UMass's body language has changed over the last few minutes or so. They look deflated. They look to be out of gas at the moment.
Rose to Williams with the back toward Taylor Donaldson. Now driving toward the top of the arc. Picked up by Rose Nelson. Now back out to Rose on the left wing. Going around a right screen. Now driving around the left elbow. Jumper, no good. Pull-up jumper there hitting the side iron. Now pass up front in transition to Nyborg, and Nyborg finishes under the rim. Nice transitional pass from Taya Davis, and the UMass Minutewomen need a timeout.
A truly wicked pass from Taya Davis. Entering today, she had a team-high 70 assists on the season, had 10 points against Dayton. Her passing is incredible. The scoring is starting to catch up. Once you have those two skills on your side, you can be a truly scary guard.
44-21 here in the historic Fordham Rose Hill Gym. We'll take a little break. 5:35 to go here in this third quarter. You're listening to Fordham Women's Basketball on WFUV Sports.
Hey guys, it's Nick Palmer, your New York Islanders beat reporter for the 2023-2024 NHL season. Tune into my Twitter at NickPalmer55 for live game updates in addition to pre- and post-game analysis. To get updates on all things Isles, follow me as the Blue and Orange try to bring another Stanley Cup championship to Long Island.
(44-21) Fordham Rams with a commanding lead, and I mean a commanding lead over the UMass Minutewomen. Fordham very impressive in these first three quarters so far. 5:35 left to go in this third quarter. Only 21 points for UMass. We're 5 minutes to the fourth quarter. That point total is very low.
And obviously the story of the day for Fordham has been how well they've shot the basketball and the scoring they've received from players like Taylor Donaldson and Amy Hayford. But it goes without saying that other players have truly stepped up for these Rams. Someone like Rose Nelson, 6 points, 3 of 3 from the field, an assist, a block, and a steal. And someone like Taya Davis as well, 4 points, 3 assists, 3 turnovers as well. But when you look at the holistic approach that Fordham has taken, it's been clear that no one is trying to play hero ball. They're trying to work well as one cohesive unit.
And when they work as a cohesive unit, I think everyone can agree this is a better basketball team when they're working well as a collective. We saw that in the first half of their last game against the Dayton Flyers. Taylor Donaldson, this isn't a certified fact, but I'm pretty sure the first half this Fordham team played without a field goal from TD, and they did it well. It was by committee. It was everyone scoring. When they diversify their scoring and also take defense on as a team unit as well, that's when this Fordham team is really playing at their best.
And not to be a pessimist, but it's not as if Fordham has anyone that can put the team on its shoulders and really take them to where they want to be. They have to get contributions from everybody. For as good as Taylor Donaldson and Amy Hayford are, they're not the kind of players that can score consistently from all three levels to where you look at them and go get a bucket on any given moment.
It's Rose giving it on the right wing. Back up top, Bellamy. Bellamy on the left wing to Rose. In the corner, left corner, Bellamy trying to go baseline. Receives a double team from Matilda Flood, and Matilda Flood wrestles it out of her hands. A held ball is called, and the possession arrow stays on this side. It will continue to be UMass ball.
Matilda Flood just hustling to the point of attack, playing the ball, not the body. That works sometimes, and other times it works against you. Today, that approach has served her well.
Rose inside in the post. The spin around jumper, no good. Matilda Flood with the rebound. Taylor Donaldson has it on the left wing in transition. Pass on the left block to Rose. Rose pass in the right corner to Matilda Flood, but a foul called. That one is going to stay here. I believe it's going to be called on Alexia Rose, and Fordham will have it under the basket. Media timeout, I believe, is called there. So we'll get a little break before the free throws. But Colin, just looking at this Fordham team, even looking ahead, a lot of the things they're doing today, they're going to really want to do for the rest of the season, especially with this important part of A10 ball.
And a win like this one would come at an important time for Fordham, as you mentioned, if for no other reason than there's going to be a little bit of a break. They won't play St. Bonaventure until next Sunday, February 18th on the road. Then it's a quick turnaround. They'll play St. Louis at home that following Wednesday. So to win in this fashion, assuming they hold on and defeat the Minutewomen, would be a nice tone setter for a break. It gives you the opportunity to assess where you are as a team, to look at what has gone right against Dayton and against the Minutewomen, and then decide, is this something that we can truly build on against teams like Bonaventure or St. Louis, or are there parts of our game that we're going to have to address before that time?
This UMass program, this UMass women's basketball program, last 2 seasons either won a regular season A10 championship or won an A10 championship, including WNIT and March Madness berths. This is a program that was at the tippy top of the A10 every single year. Now with a new coach in Coach Mike LaFleur, it's a new system, it's a new era in UMass basketball, and they're definitely in a rebuilding year this year. Must be hard to just come in and not win a ton of games this year after expecting so much in the past.
And it will be an interesting test for the institution to really see where they are. Can they survive a new coach coming in and try and build something sustainable once again? If the institution is firmly rooted in what it believes in, you can make the bet that they'll be back in a couple of years' time once a new recruiting class comes in and those players start to really work together. I think a lot of their issues this year have stemmed from the fact that they have some older players, but they also have some younger players who are still really learning the ropes at the collegiate level. Look at someone like Kirsten Williams. For as good as she is, she's only a junior. She's still growing into the type of player that she's going to become. The same can be said of Alexia Rose.
And I was talking to our counterpart on radio for UMass before the game. It seemed when we were talking about the issues of our squads that we call, it seemed like a lot of them were the same. And it honestly seems like both of these programs in a similar position or a similar era right now. New coaches obviously on both sides, and both programs kind of known as sleeping giants right now, just waiting to kind of finally break through.
And isn't this where collegiate sports is on the whole, Chris? It's become such a matter of right place and right time. It used to be that players would be in institutions for 4 years, and that's just where they were. That's where they learn, grow, develop. Now, everyone's a free agent on any given year, and things can change in a New York minute, if you will.
In a New York minute, it can change. I don't know if we'll see that much change that quickly in this game. 44-21, Fordham Rams up on UMass. 4:57 to go here in this third quarter. Amy Hayford takes a quick three in the left corner. It's good for Amy Hayford. That's her 9th point of the ball game. And Fordham jumping out to a 26-point lead, 47-21.
If Fordham begins to shoot effectively from behind the arc to end this game, it is as good as over.
Bellamy gathers it on the right elbow. Dribble handoff to Rose in the right corner. Back top to Pierce. Pierce around a left Bellamy screen. Still top of the arc to Nyduk inside. Another pass inside. That one is Bellamy, and Bellamy will finish under the rim for the UMass Minutewomen.
That was one of the rare times this afternoon you can say that the Minutewomen had some efficient ball movement. Very smart and intelligent passes made.
Up top, Amy Hayford to Mandy McGurk on the right wing. In the right corner, Rose Nelson driving inside. Posting up Bellamy, now in the middle of the lane, loses it in the middle of the paint. Pearson, Rose Nelson jump on the ground for the ball, and another held ball. It'll stay with Fordham on this side.
Dallas Pierce hitting the deck, trying to save the ball for UMass, create a steal. She's a freshman. Playmaking could be better. She's a bigger guard. You figure that she has the opportunity to do something special with that sort of athleticism.
Taylor Donaldson having trouble with the Mandy McGurk pass at the top of the key, and now the UMass Minutewomen moving the other way. Rose, right elbow jumper, no good in transition. Nyborg receives the rebound. Can't really find anyone to give it to. Eventually gives it to McGurk, and McGurk will bring it up for the Fordham offense. Donaldson in the right corner, in the post on the right block to Nyborg. Nyborg backing down her defender, spinning right, putting up the right-handed shot, no good. Taylor Donaldson has it on the ground, and I believe it's going to be another held ball, position arrow going the other way to the UMass Minutewomen.
And the clock starting to bleed away, Chris. Just about 3 minutes, 24 seconds left in this third quarter. With every second that passes, it's another second off the clock that UMass needs to try and facilitate some sort of comeback.
Alexia Rose guarded from 94 feet by Amy Hayford. Hitting Bellamy on the right elbow. Back top of Rose. Rose to Nyduk on the left wing. Tried to get it in the post to Odenigbo. Couldn't quite get it to her. Rose Nelson to be taking it out. Going the other way for the Fordham Rams.
We haven't seen a lot from Hajduk, which is surprising considering how good of a high school player she was. Averaged around 26 points and drilled 73-pointers as a high school senior.
In the post, nice pass. Tried to get a dribble inside to Nyborg. Couldn't get it to her. Now it's McGurk passing it on the right wing. Taylor Donaldson. She'll drive through the right lane. Tried to get up a shot in the lane. Couldn't quite get it to go in. And now Rose is moving the other way for UMass. Passing in the left corner. Now to the right wing. It's Nyduk. No good. Colin almost jinxed it, and a little contact on the defensive glass. Taylor Donaldson gets thrown on the ground, and Fordham will have it going back offensively.
And UMass would have liked to have gotten more from Hajduk. She played 3 years at Drexel, only averaged around 2.8 points per game. But as I mentioned, Chris, she's the kind of player that has scoring pedigree in her history. It's just a matter of getting that pedigree to come out in the right ways.
Only started one of 67 games played at Drexel as well. Maybe being slightly underutilized down there at Drexel.
And sometimes it's about finding the right fit, and perhaps she's the sort of player that has just never found the right fit at the collegiate level, even as a graduate student now at UMass.
First one, no good. Taylor Donaldson will get a second try from the line, and that one is good. Taya Davis going to check in for Taylor Donaldson. Rose bringing it up very slowly for the Minutewoman. Williams crouches on the scorer's table waiting to check in. Ferguson now has it at the left elbow. Tried to send a dribble handoff to the cutting Rose, but a foul called on the floor. A push is called. It'll once again be taken under the basket from UMass.
And Williams will come in for Hajduk, so they're going to try and go with the more surefire bet to score the basketball this time in the game. Although Williams has not had a particularly pristine afternoon.
Rose passing to Williams on the left wing from the inbound. That three, no good for Williams. Rebound brought down by the smallest person on the block, Mandy McGurk, and now she's moving the other way. Stops on the right wing, pass back out behind the arc on the right wing to Taya Davis. Now in the right corner, Mandy McGurk drifting to a pass to Nyborg to Hayford on the left wing. Now driving, top of the arc, moving toward the left block. Euro step to get in the lane, and the pretty finish. Beautiful stuff there from Amy Hayford.
Hayford put him in a spin cycle, not a spin move, but had their head spinning, that's for sure.
Ferguson passing to Williams on the right wing. Tried to hit Ferguson on the roll. Eventually gathered it. Ferguson gets it back after the loose ball and takes the 5-footer right in front of the right elbow. Goes out of bounds, and play's going to stay on this side.
Fordham up 50-23, just under a minute 30 to play in the third quarter, Chris. The route is certainly on. It's been on for some time, but the Rams just seizing every opportunity to make their presence felt.
They have 50-23 Fordham Rams over UMass, as a miss there from Rose in the middle of the lane on a floater. Fordham now going the other way. Hayford has it in the right corner, around a Nyborg screen right. Now on the right wing, she'll take a three all alone, and she's good. Couldn't have been more open unless she was in an open gym. And Fordham back out, now to a 30-point lead, 53-23, with 1 minute to go in this third quarter. Williams has it on the horn of the Ram, top of the arc. Now has it on the right wing, pass top of the key to Ferguson. Ferguson on the left wing to Rose. Rose takes a three. It's good on the spot-up jumper from Rose. And that brings UMass a little bit closer, 53-26, 35 seconds to go here in this third quarter.
Yeah, and that might be too little too late from behind the arc as far as UMass is concerned.
Kuleja guarding Hayford. Now to Taya Davis, top of the key, around a Lee screen. Pass inside to Lee, couldn't quite get it to her, stolen by Kuleja. And Kuleja now going the other way. Colin just stops on a dime on the right block. Pass out to Rose on the right wing. Her three, no good, offside rim. Now 10 seconds left for the Fordham offense. Taya Davis bringing it up. Pass inside to Nyborg. Pretty play on the no-look. And another bucket for the Fordham offense. It's 55-26 as the horn sounds to end the third quarter. Fordham going into the fourth quarter with a 55-26 lead.
A filthy pass from Taya Davis. Now with 5 assists on the afternoon, you cannot overstate the importance of her ability to facilitate the basketball and collect assists at such a high clip.
Taya Davis showing off the passing form and showing off how efficient she can be. Fordham up 55-26 with 10 minutes to go in this game. Fourth quarter right ahead of us. We're going to send it to the Rose Hill Studios for another one-on-one scoreboard with Ben Oppenheimer.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
Circling back to check in on the games in the top 25, Duke leads Boston College 46-37 with 14 minutes to go in the second at Cameron Indoor. Jared McCain's got 9 points, 8 rebounds for the Blue Devils so far. Michigan State and Illinois are tied up at 51 with 17 minutes to go in the second half in a back-and-forth game that has seen Terrence Shannon Jr. stand out for Illinois as he's racked up 19 points so far. And Iowa State is cruising over TCU with 17 minutes, 35-22 to go in the second half. Moving on to matchups to be played later this afternoon, number 12 ranked Auburn is set to play the Gators at Florida. The 8-2 Tigers are looking to continue their strong play in the SEC. At 4 p.m., number 3 ranked UNC is in Miami to take on the Hurricanes in an ACC matchup that will be broadcast on ESPN. Also at 4 p.m., number 5 ranked Houston is in Cincinnati looking to best the Bearcats. You can catch that game on ESPN2. Another 4 p.m. game will be played between number 17 ranked Kentucky and Gonzaga. Kentucky has a 10-3 record at home so far this season, and they're looking to protect the house in another nationally broadcast game on CBS. At 6 p.m., it'll be arguably the best matchup of the day with 2 teams within the top 25 facing off as number 13 ranked Baylor heads to Kansas to play the number 4 ranked Jayhawks. Tune in to ESPN to catch the game. Also at 6 p.m., New York's own St. John's Red Storm head to Wisconsin to play number 7 ranked Marquette as Patino and the Johnnies are looking to pull above 500 in the Big East. The game will be broadcast on FS1. And last but certainly not least, at 8 p.m. on CBS Sports, number 25 ranked New Mexico welcomes UNLV to the land of enchantment as the Lobos are looking to defend home court at the Pit. With the one-on-one scoreboard, I'm Ben Oppenheimer.
(55-26) here in the Rose Hill Gym, home of the Fordham Rams. Fordham Rams up right now, a large number, and don't seem to be slowing down at all.
Fordham has a chance to put UMass to bed, get their second straight win. They cannot fall asleep at the wheel, though. Anything can happen at any given moment, Chris.
McGurk, top of the key to Taylor Donaldson on the left wing. Donaldson now picking up a double team, and she's swarmed around half court. Now UMass moving the other way, finishing in transition. Ferguson on the offensive glass, cleaning up the missed layup. That missed layup by Kuleja. Now UMass getting a little bit closer, slowly inching toward the Rams. Nyborg has it in the left post, pass to Taylor Donaldson. She'll go left baseline and finish with a very pretty floater.
Fordham has shot the ball excellently this afternoon, 55% on the game. Anytime you shoot at that high of a rate, it's going to lead to good things.
Nyduk on the right wing, guarded by McGurk. Top of the key to Ferguson. Ferguson now behind the arc. Kuleja passing up top now to Williams on the right wing. Now picked up by McGurk on the switch, taking a far three, and it's good. Kristen Williams finally gets one to go. That one was from Brooklyn on the right wing. And UMass continuing to score. Impressive little offensive stretch. Pass to Nyborg on the left elbow to Mandy McGurk in the left corner. No good on the three. Tried to pass it to her once again. Nyborg ends up collecting it. And now it's Amy Hayford to Matilda Flood. Top of the key, loses it on the dribble. Tried to use a pound dribble, dribbling inside, lost it. And now Williams with another three in the right corner, no good. And Taylor Donaldson will bring down the defensive rebound.
Williams getting aggressive from behind the arc late in the game.
Nyborg attempts a shot under the basket, fouled, and she'll go to the line for 2.
And now Fordham just trying to figure out how to seal this one and put the Minutewomen away. As also worth mentioning, Kyle Rose and Antrell Charlton in attendance.
Did see that.
Women's team in action.
Celebrity row.
So to speak.
Yeah, the men's team and women's team always supporting each other in some way. I've seen players like Amy Hayford and others from this women's team at some men's games as well. Nyborg misses her first. The second is good. Nothing but net from Miranda Nyborg. And Fordham will jump out to a 58-31 lead. 8:12 to go here in this game. Fordham with a dominant and commanding performance so far today. Williams has it top of the key to Taule. Taule stops, spins, and shoots. It's good from 5 feet. Nice move there, and Taylor Donaldson's getting it quick on the other end offensively. It's Berry giving it to McGurk. McGurk back to Berry, top of the arc, giving it to Nyborg on the right block, giving it to Berry once again on the baseline. And now McGurk has it left wing into Nyborg on the left block, dribbles, backs down her opponent, now moves inside, tries to bully her way to the rim, and a held ball is called. And that'll go the other way in favor of the Minutewomen.
And Nyborg just taking her time in the post, doesn't get a shot up, but it tells you where Fordham's heads are at this time in the game. You have a big lead. There's no reason to force anything from outside the arc. If you can, salt away the clock, try and get some easy looks in the painted area.
High Duke bringing it up for UMass. Top of the arc, 58-33, 7:17 to go. Fordham leads. Inside, Taule out to Ferguson. Ferguson on the right wing to Pierce. Her three is good. Very open on that right wing and gets it to go. Now cuts the lead down to 22.
Pierce collects her first points of the day. A clean shot from the right arc.
Donaldson on the right wing. Going around a Rose Nelson screen toward the top of the arc. Now McGurk has it in the left corner. Back to Taylor Donaldson. She'll take a three from the same spot. No good. Berry tried to corral the rebound. Couldn't get to it. It'll be out of bounds off the Rams. It's now High Duke on the left wing to Williams. Williams driving baseline side. Floater no good off the backboard. Taylor Donaldson receiving a lot of contact in the backcourt. Eventually it's going to be Taule winning the jump ball, winning the held ball for the Minutewomen.
And to UMass's credit, they're showing some fight late in this one, down by a bunch on the scoreboard. It's not often that you see a team continue to grind, continue to look for ways to inch closer and closer. Even if they don't win, it says a lot about their character.
Lily Taule, one of the more impressive resumes I've seen in college basketball so far this year, as the Fordham offense passing it around eventually ends up with Amy Hayford on the right wing. It's good from 3. Amy Hayford absolutely on fire from behind the arc, and that brings the Fordham lead back out 61-36 with 6 minutes to go here in this fourth quarter. Nyduke gets stopped parallel to the left block right on the baseline, and eventually I think she knocked it off a Fordham Ram. It'll stay with UMass on this side.
And with that last three, Amy Hayford now is Fordham's leading scorer on the day. She has 17 points. Her and Taylor Donaldson have combined for 32 points.
Williams driving perpendicular with the paint, eventually ends on the right block. Doesn't get the right-handed shot to go, but she'll go to the line for 2. Just to put a bookend on my point about Lily Taule. Lily Taule on the New Zealand U14 all the way to U17 teams. First female player in New Zealand basketball history to be picked for the Junior NBA Global Championship. Named team captain of the Junior NBA Asia Pacific team as well. Illustrious resume at a young age for Lily.
Only a freshman. She has a lot of time to continue to develop. Had 7 points, 4 assists against Duquesne. That was a game that UMass felt they had a chance to win. Ultimately lost to the Dukes. But the point being, Chris, this is a team filled with a lot of puzzle pieces that haven't learned how to fit together yet.
Emmy Hayford trying to back down Rose. No fouls called, a ton of contact in the right post. And it's going to stay here with the Rams. A lot of people wanted a foul there, including Antrez Charlton behind the basket. Actually, it's going to go with the UMass Minutewomen, going the other way. Antrez Charlton got out of his seat in disgust after that play.
Antrell not happy with that call or lack thereof at all.
Williams, jab step on the left wing, now going baseline side. Pull-up jumper from 5 feet is good for Williams. Silky play there offensively. 61-39. Fordham still leads, chipping away at the lead, but at this point may just be too much. Donaldson has it on the left wing. Now moves more toward the center, gets it into Rose Nelson, middle of the paint, wide open, no good on the right-handed reverse layup. It's going to stay with the Rams on this side.
Fordham just trying to salt away the clock. You notice they're not playing as fast-paced as they had to start this game. They're just trying to find some clean opportunities, some clean looks at the basket, even if that takes a second or two.
Taya Davis inside. Ball turnover there. I think just a bit of a miscue in the hands of Pierce. Eventually Rose has it in transition. It'll go off the fingertips of Mandy McGurk out of bounds. It'll stay with the Minutewomen.
Now, by contrast, on that possession, Alexia Rose was lackadaisical with the basketball. Just kind of carried it over past the half-court line. Really no urgency. You have to have some urgency when you're down by this many points.
61-39, Fordham still commanding this game and still a dominant lead in front. 4:56 to go in this ball game. We'll take a little break here from the Rose Hill Gym. You've been listening to Fordham Women's Basketball on WFUV Sports.
Hi, this is Michael Kay, WFUV class of 1982. WFUV is your home for all things Fordham athletics, with live coverage of Fordham football, Fordham men's and women's basketball, in addition to our Saturday show, One on One. Stay right here on 90.7 FM for all things WFUV Sports.
Welcome back into the Rose Hill Gym, the historic Rose Hill Gym on the campus of Fordham University here in the great borough of the Bronx. I'm Chris Carrino, joined by my partner, Colin Loughran. Colin, kind of looking at that first 3 quarters and now that first half of that fourth quarter, it seems like Fordham kind of losing the plot slightly here, but still with a very much commanding lead.
And truly, this game changed in the second quarter. Remember, Fordham only led by 7 points at the end of the first quarter. That second quarter, the Rams outscored the Minutewomen 20-6 on the scoreboard. Fordham shot 50% from the field in that frame. Ever since then, the Rams have had a commanding lead, so even if they're losing the plot a touch here or there, it's all in an effort to try and salt away the time that is left. As for UMass, you have to show more urgency, you have to show more fight. They've had moments where they've shown that sort of fight, that sort of character, but I think it's important to end this game on a high note. Even if you don't win, you have to have something that you can build on going forward.
And we've seen spurts kind of lending to what you were talking about in this fourth quarter of this UMass offense being really good and really efficient, and maybe if they could have extended that for a full 4 quarters, they could have been a little more competitive here today.
It's very hard to win a basketball game when you're shooting only 29% from the field. UMass has not shot the ball well at all. 15 of 51 from the field, 4 of 21 from downtown. Unacceptable numbers.
UMass going to take it out right in front of their own bench. Eventually be out to Williams on the deep right wing. Pierce trying to get it inside to Ferguson, guarded heavily by Berry, and a foul going to be called on the floor.
And still not a lot of movement in that Minutewomen offense. So many players just seem stagnant or stuck. You have to start moving a little bit more, creating some motion, perhaps moving off of screens, seeing if you can set up an easy three-point opportunity.
Williams perusing out to the top of the arc. Passing it on the left wing to Pierce. Pierce getting it inside to Taule on the left block, spinning left, shooting with the left hand, no good on the left-handed layup, and now the ball will go the other way, left to right with the Fordham Rams.
And that time Taulea just too many dribbles. I would take one, maybe two dribbles at most, then rise up for a shot. There's no reason to put the ball on the floor any more than that.
Taya Davis, top of the key, guarded by Williams, crossover right, going right lane, no good on the layup. Offensive rebound, second chance from Rose Nelson, and a held ball once again. It's going to go the other way in favor of the Minutewomen.
Taya Davis driving to the rim with authority, only 4 points, but remember she has 5 assists on the afternoon. She has a dual skill set offensively.
Williams bringing it up, top of the key, pass to on the left wing back to Taule, dribble handoff on the right wing to Williams. Williams driving through the paint, shoots at the left elbow, jumper good for Williams. Taya Davis bringing it up for the Rams. Taya Davis passing it top of the key. Cassidy Mahoney inside. Mahaney. Seems like Rose Nelson barreled over her defender. And an offensive foul called. Maybe a slight taunt at the end as well. Didn't get any sort of technical or anything, but referee definitely with a cautious look on his face.
And Coach Mitchell looking a little bit perplexed at that call. Not truly bothered with her team up by 20 points, but just an interesting call when Fordham is up 20 with just about 3 minutes, 30 seconds to play.
Yeah, like you said, 3:26 to play, 61-41 Rams. Pierce gathers it on the right wing, up top to Ferguson. Ferguson dribble handoff, top of the arc. Now moving in on the right block, good on the floater. UMass getting a little closer. It's now 18 on that floater from Kuleja. Taya Davis on the left wing, pass top of the key. Cassidy Mahaney, her three, no good for the freshman. Rebound brought in, another second chance for the Rams. Taya Davis has it, top of the arc on the block F. On the right wing, Cassidy Mahaney. Mahaney now has it on the right wing. And an out-of-bounds call. That one's going to be on Mahaney right here in the right corner, right in front of us. It'll go back with the Minutewoman.
Fordham trying to set something up for Mahaney, perhaps get her on the scoreboard. Taya Davis kind of shouting at her on that possession, saying, move off ball, see what you can do to get yourself open.
Yeah. Williams moving into the front court. Now receiving a dribble handoff from Taule. Now inside in the post, tried to make a shovel pass to Ferguson, couldn't get it to her, and now Taya Davis and the Rams moving with speed in transition, tried to make a no-look bounce pass to Berry, couldn't get it to her, and now UMass coming the other way, finishing with a right-handed layup is Kuleja, and this UMass team's cutting it to 16 now, Colin. As Cassidy Mahaney, that's a three from the left wing, no good, an air ball, but Berry gets it on the offensive glass, and it's going to stay with the Rams. A foul called on UMass.
UMass showing a little bit of grit towards the end of this game, and you wonder how different the score would look had Kristen Williams played better. 5 of 18 from the field, just 1 of 9 from long range. She leads the team with 12 points, but it's been an inefficient 12 points.
Mahaney gets it, pass into Nyborg on the right block. Now a pass to Davis. On the right wing, back into Nyborg. Nyborg now in the middle of the paint and knocking over Williams. And they're going to go the other way with an offensive foul. Once again, Fordham fed up with, I don't want to accuse anybody of anything, but maybe some floppage.
That's a gracious gracious offensive foul call as Miranda Nyborg is a bigger player than Kristen Williams. Just did a nice job backing her down. I don't know if I would have necessarily called the offensive foul there.
Nyduk on the right wing, inside, in the post to Williams on the left wing. She'll take the three. It's good. You don't gotta tell Kristen Williams to shoot the ball twice, and that one goes.
Only her second made three of the afternoon in 10 attempts.
Now Taya Davis driving through the right lane in the paint, and a travel called. Kristen Williams laughing at Taya Davis after that one. And once again, Massachusetts have another chance to get a good offensive and productive offensive possession going.
Don't look now, the Minutewomen down 13 points, so just over a minute to play.
Williams gathers it once again on the left wing. No good on that three. Nyduk sprinting out to try and get their offensive rebound. She slams into the scorer's table, and I believe it's going to be a push called on the Rams. It'll stay with UMass.
A very cordial exchange between the two teams as Taya Davis and Nyduk exchanged a look there. Chris, is not the same chippiness that these two teams have experienced throughout the program's history. If you think back to last year, there was a legitimate rivalry between UMass and Fordham. Not the case this afternoon.
Yeah, two of the A-10's best for an entire era and a boiling rivalry that came with it. The changes in the programs really evaporated that rivalry, but still some chippiness and still some attitude. The attitude doesn't go away, Colin, as Fordham now has it offensively. McGurk. Taylor Donaldson on the right wing, looking inside to Rose Nelson. Spots up, pass in the left corner to McGurk, getting it inside to Lee in the post. She spins around, eventually takes the shot, blocked by Talalay, and now there's a scrum under the basket once again. Taylor Donaldson steals the pass on the ground from Williams. Now McGurk has it on the left wing. She'll take it. It's good. Nothing but net, absolutely pure from Mandy McGurk, and that brings this Fordham lead back out once again, 64-48 with 30 seconds to go in this game.
That's going to be the dagger, Chris. Fordham with a big enough lead that they can confirm that this one will be a win.
Williams getting trapped here on deep on the left wing, and another foul called. Don't really understand the fouling up 16 with 24 seconds left, but nonetheless, Fordham playing to the final whistle.
Mandy McGurk with 3 points, and no better time to get her first 3 points of the afternoon than with that three ball. She's quietly had a decent day in other areas, 3 rebounds and an assist to her name as well.
No good on the first free throw for Williams. Williams 2 for 3 tonight. 16 points, 3 rebounds, and an assist. That's good on the second one. 84% on the year. Team high for the season. Definitely the person you want at the line. Just maybe not enough time for this Minutewoman team. 15 seconds and counting going on in this game. 64-15, Fordham with a 14-point lead as Taylor Donaldson smiling as the Minutewoman defenders chase her. Eventually, Mandy McGurk will have it at the top of the key and dribble it out for the final whistle. And there it is, the final buzzer. Fordham Rams win 64-50, an impressive win for the Rams, and momentum continuing to move on and persevere in the rest of this season.
A dominant win for sure, Chris, and one that Fordham needed to have, especially coming off of a momentous win against Dayton. Listen, UMass was 3-21 entering today for a reason. They're a team that Fordham should have been able to handle. They did just that. They shot the ball brilliantly all throughout this one. Their final clip just a tad under 50% at the 49% mark. You take that any day of the week. Additionally, Fordham 6 of 16 from range. That's around 38%. So all smiles for the Rams this afternoon.
Longevity is going to be the magic word for this Ram team to see if they can continue to do this. What kind of signs or factors did you see in this game that may lend to some longevity?
Well, I think you got to see firsthand the two-headed monster that Taylor Donaldson and Amy Hayford can be. They combined for 32 points. Donaldson with 15, Hayford with a team-high 17 points. And then more so, you even got to see some of the role players step up in some critical situations. Taya Davis with 4 points and 5 assists. Also, interestingly, someone like Miranda Nyborg, 5 points, 3 rebounds. It's not going to show up on the stat sheet just how good she was today, but she did the little things right, which makes a big difference at the end of the day.
That's it for us here in the Bronx, New York. Fordham wins 64-50 against the traveling UMass Minutewomen. Thanks to Ralph Barbieri on production, Zach Cordova on engineering, and Gabby Price on highlights. Fordham is back in action after their second bye week of the season next Sunday at St. Bonaventure. That one's at 1 p.m. For me, Chris Carrino, and my partner, Colin Loughran, have a great rest of your weekend. And now we're going to send it back to the Rose Hill Studios with Jack Warner and Ben Oppenheimer for the one-on-one post-game show. Thanks, everybody.
The one-on-one post-game report.
It's a happy bunch of Rams in the Bronx, New York after that one. An absolute beatdown of the UMass Minutewomen. The Fordham Rams win by a score of 64-50. Welcome back to the Rose Hill Studios for our one-on-one post-game report. I am Jack Warner, joined alongside by Ben Oppenheimer. And yeah, the Fordham women's basketball team went into Rose Hill Gym today and did exactly what they were supposed to. They shot better than UMass. They rebounded better than UMass. In fact, they out-rebounded UMass 44-22. They doubled the total rebounds from this against this UMass Minutewomen team. And Ben, I think we kind of talked about it at halftime that the assignment in a game like this one. It's obviously a season that hasn't been too kind to UMass. It hasn't been freakishly kind to Fordham, but I would argue, much kinder than it has been to UMass. And I think they did exactly what they needed to. They knew the assignment, and they didn't allow UMass to stick around at all. They built up lead after lead after lead and let that accumulate. They stuck to what they knew. They attacked the boards. They attacked the paint and come out with a well-earned beat down of a victory.
Yeah, as you said, Jack, Fordham understood the assignment today, having dominance in those first 3 quarters, or first, second, and third. I'd say the fourth they got a tiny bit complacent, but it didn't matter at that point.
Right.
They cruised to victory in this game, and really, as Colin noted on the call, just watching Amy Hayford and Taylor Donaldson on the court for this Fordham team, it's like watching LeBron and D Wade in the prime. Just the chemistry they have with each other. They played very well, and also credit to them, credit to Fordham as a team for holding Kristen Williams to. She had 17 points, yes, but it wasn't a great 17 points. It was a 17 points that was on 6 for 20 shooting from the field, 2 for 11 from beyond the arc. Those are just really bad numbers. So credit to Fordham for shutting her down and making sure that she didn't take control of this game in the second half. Really, I think arguably the most important quarter in a basketball game is not the fourth quarter, it's the third quarter. It's how you come out of the half and set the tone for the rest of the game. And even though Fordham actually got outscored in the fourth, 24-9, it did not matter because they continued their dominance in the first half. In the third, outscoring UMass 17-9 and shooting 58% from the field. UMass shot 13% from the field. I'm wondering if the Monstars took their talent or something, because those are really bad numbers. And they did what they set out to do, and now it's on to the next one.
Taylor Donaldson with a double-double today, 15 points and 10 rebounds. She has continued to impress every person that really has the pleasure of watching her play. But a very well-rounded, I think we talked about it a lot at halftime, just a well-rounded performance. Just on the defensive end of things, they shut down any action inside the paint. They were good on the boards. They out-rebounded. They blew them out in terms of rebounds. And then, as we mentioned as well, they stuck to what they knew. They got hotter with the jump shot as the game went on, I think. but still relied on that paint presence where they just had to lock down the paint and be able to penetrate down there, be able to attack the basket. And, good things happen when you're able to dominate on both ends of the floor. The one thing I will say is, and this I think is just a good takeaway from this game, is there are still things that could have been cleaned up today and things that I don't think would have flown against other opponents that say we're in a UMass. They turned the ball over 25 times but when we reached the end of this game. 25 turnovers, foul trouble. You had Amy Hayford up to 4 fouls, 14 total team fouls. So, it's a good win to hang your head high upon. And like I said, they played strong enough to where, those sort of statistics are voided. But at the end of the day, that's something that you may only get away with. It may make a little more of an impact against a stronger team in this conference.
Yeah, I mean, a bit sloppy in regard to the turnovers, as you noted, Jack, but there's always something to improve on, especially when you're a team that's generally struggled throughout conference play, but you're trying to get on the right track. But this is a step in the right direction. You got coming up next, you got St. Bonaventure on the road. That's Sunday, 1 p.m., February 18th. Then St. Louis at home, then Davidson away, and then St. Joseph's away, and then finishing at home versus LaSalle March 2nd. I think that it's plausible that, as I noted, these last 5 games, they could go 3-2 in these last 5 games. And I think that would be a nice way to end the season, despite the way they started out.
The last thing that I will say that I think just kind of puts the bow on a dominant victory like this one. The largest lead of the game for Fordham today was 30 points. They were leading by 30 points over the UMass Minutewomen. And that on its own is pretty eye-opening. But then you look at the largest lead for UMass, which was 2. And even that seems like, Fordham just dominated. Ben, those 2 points were the first points of the game. UMass scored first, and that was the only time they led in this game. From that point forward, after the first basket of the game, they never had the lead again.
Even with their run, quote unquote, in the fourth quarter, when they outscored Fordham 24-9, they still did not come close to retaking the lead. So that shows how dominant a performance this was for this Fordham team today.
As I mentioned, the Rams are happy in the Bronx today, and that is going to just about do it for today's one-on-one post-game report. Your final score from the Rose Hill Gym was the Fordham Rams 64, the UMass Minutewomen 50. The sports director of WFUV is Bobby Chaffardini. Our radio producer today was Ralph Barbieri, and our engineer was Zach Cordova. Gabby Price was on highlights, and Dan Bartels gave us a hand in the studio as well. Special thanks to our fantastic broadcasters, Chris Carrino and Colin Loughran, who had the call this afternoon. Your Fordham Rams will be back in action next Sunday, February 18th at 1 p.m. when they travel upstate to take on St. Bonaventure. Until next time, for Ben Oppenheimer on Updates, I'm Jack Warner saying so long. We'll see you next time, and enjoy the big game tomorrow. Fordham Women's Basketball is a production of WFUV Sports.